I think Tokoyami's quirk, Dark Shadow, is one of the best ones in My Hero Academia. It has a lot of potential. The more darkness surrounds Tokoyami, the stronger he becomes. But there is also a downside. The more darkness there is, the harder it is to use the quirk. So this is part 1 of What if Deku had Dark Shadow? If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. Now with that said, sit back and enjoy. We start our story in kindergarten with Izuku being bullied by Bakugo and his friends. Now, they're just bullying him literally because he seems to only have a useless quirk, and that is literally just having a crow's head basically. So in this universe, Izuku is going to be looking mostly or like similar to Tokoyami. And so after Inko picked up Izuku, he just started crying in the car since like Izuku, Bakugo and his friends like continuously bully him for his quirk or like make fun of him. And like he just gets sad and like after he goes home, he just locks himself in his bedroom and then just starts crying. So right now Izuku is 4 years old, and when he obviously goes into his room to go cry in his bed, that's when his quirk awakens and someone starts talking to him. And that's obviously Izuku's quirk, Dark Shadow. And it's trying to comfort Izuku, trying to like make him feel better, cause he's there obviously. And Izuku is scared like a little bit, but also not. And he asks him like, what is he? And he doesn't really know, like the person doesn't really know. So just because of that, Izuku like realizes that he came out of Izuku's chest, and so he like thinks it might just be his quirk, cause like his quirk like suddenly appeared. It wasn't like it was gradually, I guess it was kind of gradually forming, but like it wasn't alive until like that moment. Or I guess it didn't have a consciousness. And so Izuku and his quirk, Dark Shadow, start talking for quite a bit, like 20 minutes. And after that, like Izuku gets like to feel better. And the next day, he goes back to kindergarten and he shows Bakugo that he has a quirk and that now he can't really bully him anymore or like make fun of him. But Bakugo just still does that because he's just like that. And so Dark Shadow just decides to stand up for Izuku, and he like attacks Bakugo like slightly to like intimidate him basically. And so after Bakugo gets attacked, he just decides to attack back, and so he uses his quirk on Izuku, and Dark Shadow begins to get weaker since like light decreases the strength of Dark Shadow. And so after that, just Izuku starts like not even trying to like do anything against Bakugo, just completely ignoring him, not like even reacting to what he does. And like when Bakugo like uses his quirk like to intimidate Izuku, he just doesn't react at all. And so 6 years pass where Izuku and Dark Shadow have become like great friends. And Izuku has like realized that the stronger that he becomes, the stronger Dark Shadow becomes, and the more of like concentration Izuku has, the more of the power of Dark Shadow he can use. And also they have realized that Dark Shadow, like since he can just go inside of Izuku's body, he can come out of any part of Izuku's body, which means there are giant like amounts of improvements that they can do to their like attacks, since Izuku still wants to become a hero. And over time, Bakugo just started like not even trying to pick on Izuku, since like there was no reaction. That like Izuku just seemed to not even fucking care, so he just like gave up. And within those like 6 years of Izuku having his quirk, he has realized that he can't really be in the dark by himself. He always needs like a light source to weaken Dark Shadow, since he doesn't have full control over him obviously. And so after school, Izuku just decides to go home obviously, and then he just goes into his room, like he eats, he plays some games, and then it's time for bed. Obviously he gotta sleep, he has to wake up for the next day of school. Now he closes his door and he realized he did not turn like his light on, his night light on, since he fucking needs that shit so that Dark Shadow doesn't go berserk, because he can keep him inside of his body, but Dark Shadow just decides sometimes just get out, so he always needs a light to weaken him. Okay, and at that time where Izuku realized that his night light wasn't on, Dark Shadow was outside, and so he just starts going berserk, and he was like 10 meters away from the door. Okay, he could have rushed, but like he just like was wait what where is the night light? Where is the light? And so Dark Shadow starts going berserk when suddenly Inko hears the noises from Izuku's room, and she opens the door, obviously. And because the lights of the house were still on, Dark Shadow starts to like get weaker, and Izuku tells Inko that he needs like batteries for the light, since it turned off and he was about to die. And everyone, really. The house would not be staying right now. Like, the house would have been destroyed like completely. And within those 6 years where he said Dark Shadow, it like happened once, and that one time was like this time, obviously. And so Izuku just decides to do something insane but also like very useful to train with Dark Shadow. He decides to be inside of his room, like just inside of his room, closed all the lights, nothing is on, like the windows are closed and shit, everything is closed. And so he just starts like meditating, kind of, and he slowly like lets a bit of Dark Shadow come outside of his body, so that he can become like berserk state, but like way lessened, so that he is able to control it. And the moment it like goes a bit more than he can handle, he can just like retract that Dark Shadow inside of his body back again, and then like he can just redo it with a lesser amount of strain on his mind and body. And so that's basically what Izuku focuses on while he's not in school. So now let's go to a 12-year-old Izuku, where he's been training with that method for like 2 years, and he continuously gets better and better like using the training technique, I guess, or like controlling Dark Shadow. And obviously he's not gonna be the perfect user of Dark Shadow. He's not gonna be able to like just control him like that, but he's going to have like way better control than he would have usually had, or he would have had like 2 or 3 years ago. And so now Izuku is still like doing that training, and he like slowly releases Dark Shadow up to the point where it's completely outside of his body, and it's not berserk. But the thing is, like, Izuku's body and like mind like start getting a bit blurry because of the strain that Dark Shadow puts on Izuku, because it's fully out and it's slowly draining Izuku's health, basically, or like his stamina, I guess. And so after like 10 seconds of him controlling Dark Shadow almost completely, he retracts him back into his body and then just falls asleep. Like he's completely knocked out. And now 7 hours later, Izuku wakes up, and then he goes like outside of his room and then goes and eats, basically. And so Dark Shadow like comes out of his body, and Izuku like talks to Dark Shadow, obviously, and they talk like that he was like successful somewhat, because like Izuku remembers it, but Dark Shadow doesn't really. So yeah, Izuku like tells him that he was like a bit successful at controlling him, like in complete darkness, and Dark Shadow is happy, and so is Izuku. So 2 days later, Izuku is just outside like at like 9 p.m. or something, and it's complete darkness. And so Izuku knows that he can't really let Dark Shadow come outside, because if he does, then he's just going to go like berserk mode and just injure a lot of people. And Izuku is obviously walking home when suddenly a villain just attacks Izuku, because that villain like wanted to escape from a hero, and Izuku was in his way. What the actual fuck was that? Because, bro, what the fuck? So yeah, Izuku gets attacked, and because of that, like Dark Shadow comes outside to like defend Izuku, and like Dark Shadow starts like going berserk, and so Izuku tries to like control him, and he's able to like hold him back basically for like 10 seconds, obviously, more like 9, because now he's like a bit tired because it's like completely night and shit, and he like did his training at like noon or even like in the mornings really. And so Dark Shadow with like his controlled max power state tries to like attack the villain, but like he's like running away, and so Izuku has to like restrain Dark Shadow so that he doesn't attack the villain and actually injure him, and that he should actually let the heroes actually deal with this. But slowly, like the time that Izuku can control Dark Shadow starts like decreasing rapidly, obviously. And because he has like 9 to 8 seconds of like total control of Dark Shadow before he loses control. And now Izuku's like at like 3-4 seconds left, and he tries to like stop Dark Shadow, but he's not really able to, and Dark Shadow just like continuously tries to attack the villain. But right before like the time runs off or like runs out of Izuku being able to control Dark Shadow, the hero arrives that was chasing the villain, and that hero was Aizawa. And so like a second before like the control over Dark Shadow like ceases to exist basically for Izuku, like he's not gonna be able to control Dark Shadow anymore, because it's like almost complete darkness with like a little bit of light, so it's like a little bit easier for Izuku, but not really. Aizawa goes to like stop the villain, but he sees that Dark Shadow is like attacking him, and so he uses like his quirk on Izuku so that Dark Shadow like stops attacking, and he gets like weakened a whole lot. And because I think it's like a what the fuck would you call Dark Shadow as like a quirk? Let me check. Okay, since Dark Shadow is an emitter type, and I really feel like it's a hybrid type of like emitter and transformation, not transformation, mutation. Like mutant and emitter as well. Since bro has a fucking like crow head, okay? It definitely is some kind of mutation quirk, okay? So it's like, I feel like a hybrid of emitter and like what the fuck is it called? Not transformation, mutation. Why the fuck do I confuse those two, like transformation and mutation? So yeah, because I don't want to fucking yap too much, okay? So because like Izuku's quirk Dark Shadow was attacking the villain, which is not a good thing to do basically. So it's like illegal, I think. I think it's like considered illegal or something, like to use your quirk in public. So yeah, like Aizawa had to stop Izuku's quirk, which helped Izuku obviously because he was about to lose control of Dark Shadow, and so like Dark Shadow disappears into Izuku, and all is good until Aizawa goes and catches the villain, because he was like stopped a little bit by Izuku's quirk Dark Shadow, and then just like picks up the villain, just starts dragging him. And then just goes to Izuku and like fucking yells at him like, why were you attacking the villain? Like you don't have a fucking license. And Izuku tells him, he attacked me first, and then my quirk just acted on its own. And Aizawa is a bit confused since like his quirk is like his quirk. He should like be able to control it. And Izuku tells him that it has a personality, you could say, and like Dark Shadow from Izuku, like Izuku's Dark Shadow, is like a friend to Izuku obviously, and a very protective, okay, since Izuku was bullied for like a lot of years, and Dark Shadow just like adapted to like defending Izuku. So the moment Izuku gets attacked, it goes like outside to just attack anyone who like hurts Izuku in any way really. So yeah, Izuku is scolded by Aizawa. And Izuku just like explains to him why he couldn't really control his fucking quirk, and he just lets him go basically because yeah, he couldn't control that shit. But he like told him that if that happens again, he's going to have to do something, and so he should probably train his quirk even more so that he can control it. And so Izuku goes home, and he just decides to literally lock the fuck in, okay? He decides to just go even harder than he did like the previous like 2 years. And since he already has some progress with like him controlling his quirk, it should be kind of way easier to actually control even more of it. Or I guess control it better? I don't know. So yeah, for like the next, like year and a half? So like Izuku's gonna be like 13 and a half or something. He's literally going to lock the fuck in. After school, he just straight goes into his room. He eats very quickly, and then just like continuously he basically continuously like lets a dark shadow halfway, at least halfway, outside of his body, and just keeps it like that so that it literally strains his body, but doesn't like have that 10-second limit that he would have had if he actually just released the motherfucker completely. And so instead of training to failure, he's just going to be like continuously training just like with a smaller amount, so that he gets like a feel of how it should probably somewhat feel like to control him like completely for a long time, and obviously improving even more on like controlling him. So yeah, like 13.5-year-old Izuku is able to like let a dark shadow out for like 2 minutes in the dark, and that's a huge fucking improvement for like 1.5 years. It's even less than his original like 2 years of training. And bro literally 6 timed his fucking stamina? Endurance? I don't know. So yeah, basically Izuku can like control Dark Shadow way easier for like a longer amount of time. And after like a minute, he still is able to like controlling for like 20 seconds about, but those 20 seconds are like pure hell for him. So he's going to try to not push himself that hard. But still, that's only gonna happen if it's like complete darkness, which is most likely like it's not gonna happen often. So he should be fine. But also the downside is that the less darkness there is, or like the more light there is, the weaker Dark Shadow becomes. So how the fuck do you actually train like Dark Shadow to become stronger? Do you just like let him be in the fucking light and then bro just gradually becomes like immune to it? I don't know. Probably, maybe, I don't know. I might do that like maybe later, I don't know. So yeah, Izuku can like to the like maximum hold at the full darkness Dark Shadow for like 1 minute and 20 seconds, but his comfortable like time is a minute and a little bit more maybe. So yeah, from now on Izuku just gonna continuously be training himself and like the meditation shit that he's been doing. He just decided to also increase his strength, because like if he is stronger, Dark Shadow can also somewhat become stronger, because Izuku is like smarter than Tokoyami, okay? That we can all agree on. And if Tokoyami and Izuku fused, I feel like they would just be a creative fucking brain, okay? And let's just say Izuku is just like even more creative and even smarter than the original Izuku, which would just make Izuku like a god at creativity, okay? He's gonna be able to, or like he was already able to think of just making kind of like an armor of Dark Shadow, like covering him and just increasing their like speed and strength and reach and everything really. And so yeah, after like thinking of that idea, because Izuku is just way faster at like coming up with ideas, he decided to just become way stronger himself, because he can't really only rely on his quirk, because he saw Aizawa, he remembers Aizawa, and he saw that he was useless to like attack the villain without his quirk, so he'll have to also become stronger. And obviously the stronger he becomes, the stronger his armored form is. Wait, let me check what the fuck it's called in the anime. Okay, I just genuinely did not know that. I did not check the wiki before recording this. So yeah, they were able to like talk like telepathically, and I also somewhat fucking boosted the shit out of the quirk, since like Dark Shadow can just like appear from any part of his body, like Izuku's body, but in the original, or like in Tokoyami's case, it's only able to like come out of his umbilical cord, it says, or like his stomach like area, or like his chest area basically. And that also they like share senses or something, so fuck that shit, bro. They kind of share senses, they telepathically talk, but like there is no decrease in like the movement, or like where Dark Shadow can appear from. So yeah, the ability is called was called Abyssal wait, what the fuck, Abyssal Black Body, and then it became, I think, like Black Abyss. So I don't know, like let's just call it Black Abyss for now, okay? Or fuck nah, let's call it Abyssal Armor, okay? Abyssal Armor. That kind of sounds OP as fuck, and it kind of is. So yeah, like the stronger Izuku is physically, the more of like a punch they can fucking pack together. I don't know, think of it like a bit of like similar to Max Steel, where like he like Max's fucking immense turbo energy enhanced the shit out of Steel and vice versa. Honestly, dude, what the fuck? I could just make a Max Steel what if. What the fuck? I'll have to fucking probably think of the idea and what I want to do with it, because it's just too good of a story to just like freestyle that bitch like this video. So I'll probably have to script it. Fuck. But it's gonna be peak, definitely. I'm writing that shit down. Okay, I'm definitely gonna make it. Oh, and I'm going to be going. What the fuck? I'm not gonna be going with the 1990s like animated series. Okay, I'm gonna be going with the like reboot, I guess, the fucking 2013. I don't know when it was. That's literally the only one I've seen. That's why I'm telling you that. So yeah, let me continue. Let me continue. So, let's skip to like a 14-year-old Izuku. He's in middle school, and it's the day where the teacher comes in, and he tells everyone that he was about to give him like some kind of paper. I don't remember what it was. But he knows everyone wants to become heroes, and everyone starts cheering, except like Bakugo and Izuku, since Izuku has like learned to just not even like try to be in the class or really anywhere. Since like if like no one notices him, then there is not gonna be any problems. Okay, so he just is the quiet kid basically. So yeah, like the day ends, Bakugo doesn't mess with Izuku at all, since like nothing happens if he does. So there is no real reason to continue bullying him. If there is not gonna be a reaction, okay? So, yeah, like, Izuku is going home, obviously, and he walks right under the bridge where he did in the original, where the sludge villain appeared. Then he's about to, like, step on the sewer cap. I don't know what the fuck it's called, okay? And so, right before he does, the sludge villain pops out and he falls back. And the moment he falls back, Dark Shadow appears and he like gets in like a stance basically to defend Izuku. And so, because they are under a bridge, there is less light there, okay? There is less light hitting Dark Shadow and Izuku, which means that Dark Shadow is stronger than usual, or stronger than he would be if he was not under a bridge, basically. So yeah, he has a little bit of a strength boost since there is like less light on top of him, since bro is literally darkness. Yeah, so Dark Shadow is obviously stronger than usual, and so like Izuku just tells him just attack the sludge villain, since it bro seems like a fucking villain. Like there's no one who would pop out of the sewers as a fucking slime. Okay, so Dark Shadow starts fighting the dude, like scratching the shit out of him, but like nothing happens, and bro, it's literally slime. Okay, he's not gonna get like physical damage if it's not like fucking giant. Okay, like all mid levels. And because nothing is really happening while like Dark Shadow is attacking the sludge villain by himself, they decide to go like Abyssal armor, okay? And right before, like literally a millisecond before the transformation or like the armor completes, All Might pops out of the sewers, and so Dark Shadow like chills a little bit, and so does Izuku, because they have shared feelings that I didn't fucking know about until now. Yeah, they just chill a little bit since All Might, the number one hero, is there, and they tell All Might that the dude attacked them, and so they attacked back. Like it was actually, yeah, I guess the fucking sludge villain did attack them first, a little bit, and then they attacked back. So self-defense, yeah, so definitely self-defense. I mean, yeah, it kind of was really like it was fucking common sense that bro was a villain, okay? So yeah, like they told him that he attacked and then they defended, and All Might tells them that they shouldn't worry since he's there, and so he just charges up an attack. Texas smashes the motherfucker, and wait, I don't fucking know which one he used in the original. I don't care. Like think of the one that he used, and that's the one that he used. Okay, I'm not gonna fucking search that shit up right now. So yeah, like bro is scattered into. What the fuck was that voice crack, bro? Bro is this sludge villain is scattered into pieces. I don't fucking know how to say the word, dude. Yeah, the sludge villain is turned into a million pieces of like slime, and Izuku decides to help All Might clean the thing up, and so they put him in 2 bottles, or like 4 bottles, I think it was. And All Might puts them in his pockets and then like jumps to leave. And like before he leaves, Izuku asks him for his autograph since bro is like a giant fan of All Might's. And so after getting his autograph, like All Might obviously leaves, and after Izuku getting All Might's autograph, just goes happy at home, like fucking jumping and shit, out of like joy from like meeting All Might, the #1 hero, his idol basically. And so yeah, like after that he goes home, he eats, he trains for a little bit, like the same training, but like trains to failure, and then gets knocked out and like wakes up like 10 hours later or something. So now it's like the 10 months of training that Izuku has before the entrance exam, and he decides to just continue what he's been doing for the last 4 years, basically just continuously like do the training that he's been doing, but maybe even better, okay, or like even harder, or like even higher of a level, so that he becomes even stronger. So yeah, Izuku is gonna just train to failure, like absolute failure, not the 60 seconds, the 1 minute and 20 seconds, okay? Or maybe even 1 minute 21 seconds if he's lucky. So yeah, he does that. He goes to the gym, obviously he trains himself, he becomes way stronger, way faster, has like higher senses, or like higher, or like better senses basically, because of Dark Shadow, and because of his like what the fuck is it called? His concentration. Basically, bro is like way more concentrated because of Dark Shadow and because he needs to control him. And like he has heightened senses, basically. That was the word. Heightened senses. Yeah. Let's skip to the UA entrance exam now. Izuku just like goes there like normally. He just like takes the bus or something, or like walks, I don't know. It's not really relevant, so yeah, just think what you want. So yeah, he arrives and he takes the written portion of the exam. He gets a pretty good score. He's not the smartest, obviously, but he's not the dumbest. So he's gonna do like way better than he did, like the original Izuku did, but not like all the points. Basically, he got like a 89 or something. I don't know. Yeah. He goes to the room where President Mike is gonna be explaining the fucking robot portion of the exam, or the hero portion of the exam. I don't remember what it's called. So yeah, President Mike starts explaining about the 1-pointers, the 2-pointers, and the 3-pointers, and then finally he goes up to the 0-pointer, and he tells them that they should probably not even like attempt to defeat it, since it's like basically useless. So yeah, let's start the UA entrance exam. So Izuku is in his like designated area that he should be in, okay, and suddenly President Mike says, "There are no countdowns in a real battle, go go go!" And everyone starts like running, and Izuku starts running as well, and he's like quite fast. So he's not like Ida fast, but he's like fast, okay. Okay, I genuinely don't know what I meant by fast, okay. I don't know. He's just fast, not as fast as Ida though. That's what I tried to say. I don't know if you understood that. If you did, props to you, I guess. I don't know. That's literally irrelevant, okay? Let's just continue the story. So he starts like defeating robots by Dark Shadow just piercing the fuck out of them, since bro is strong as fuck. Even though he's like, not at his weakest, but he's very weak. So he's literally the opposite of Escanor, dude. It's literally the opposite of Escanor. The more fucking sun there is, the weaker bro becomes. Insane, dude, insane. I just fucking realized that. The bro is literally the opposite of fucking Escanor, the goat. So yeah, he's like quite weak right now, since a lot of sun or like light is on top of Dark Shadow. But he's already fucking strong, okay? He's gotten way stronger by the training that they've been doing for like Izuku meditating and shit, and like letting Dark Shadow out. That increased his like strength, since he was forced to go full strength a lot of times, which just meant his met, I don't know, his body, like Dark Shadow's like vessel. I don't know what the fuck to call it. His darkness body. I don't know. Got like strained like a muscle, and then just grew back or like regenerated, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, like Dark Shadow is way stronger than Takoyami's Dark Shadow, and that is a funny thing that I'm gonna tell you later. But let's continue with the UA entrance exam, okay? So yeah, like they continue fighting robots together. And they can obviously, what was that? They can obviously attack two robots at once. Like one is attacked by Izuku, and one is attacked by Dark Shadow, since they don't have the restraint of like only from the fucking front, okay? Bro can just go from the back. Bro can grow from the back, okay? Like Dark Shadow can just like be 360 degrees basically. So yeah, like they get like what, say 80 points? Yeah, 80 points. Let's say 80 points. And Bakugo gets like 75 points, okay? So yeah, like he didn't have that rage boost of like Izuku going to UA. So yeah, he gets 75 points, Izuku gets 80 points, which means he gets more points than than Bakugo. And like 2 minutes before the end of the UA entrance exam, footsteps, like Izuku hears some footsteps, okay? Or like he doesn't hear footsteps, he fucking feels the vibrations, okay? Yeah, he looks back and he sees the fucking giant 0-pointer, and he asks Dark Shadow, could we defeat that? And Dark Shadow answers him, fuck no! Like, what do you think we are, God? Nah, we can't defeat that shit. And so yeah, they decide not to attack it, since they're not that like they're not fucking god levels of of strength, or like all might levels, or really anything to defeat the robot, of which they could probably do some huge damage to it, but not defeat it in time, okay? So yeah, they just decide to run with all the other contestants, or the exam takers, I don't know. Yeah, his future fellow classmates basically. So yeah, like Izuku just decides to not do anything for the robot, and right before it's about to crush Uraraka, or like step on Uraraka, Nezu presses a button and it stops moving, because they don't want to kill anyone, obviously. They're heroes, not villains. So yeah, like no one gets any rescue points, which means Izuku gets number 1 since he got 80 points, and Bakugo gets number 2 since he got 75 points. So yeah, like let's go back to Izuku's home, where a week later Izuku gets the letter from UA saying that he passed and he got the most points from every contestant basically, and that he got 80 villain points, or robot points, I don't care what they're called, okay? So Izuku is fucking hyped, okay, because he got the number 1 points, of which he didn't think he could do that, because he's a bit of a sad boy, as you kinda maybe understood, I don't know. He just didn't really believe in himself at that much. He knew he could do well, but not the best, basically. He never ever thinks that he's the best at anything. So that's why he's been continuously training, because he knows he's not the best, and it seems like he might start changing pretty quickly. But not really. Maybe a little bit, but not really. Yeah. Let's go to the first day of UA, where Izuku goes into the class, and Bakugo looks at Izuku looks at Bakugo, and bro just goes and sits like at the last row, okay? He just sits at the fucking corner of the class, okay? The back corner. Because yeah, why not? Okay, why not? He just sits there, and like right next to him is Takoyami, and they look at each other, okay? They look at each other before Aizawa obviously walks in and does the thing that he does. They look at each other, okay? And they think that they're looking at a freaking mirror, okay? Like they're both thinking the exact same thing. Why is there a mirror right there? And they just continuously move, and they seem to be moving the exact same way somehow. They fucking like get convinced that it's a fucking reflection of themselves. But like when Takoyami talks, Izuku just like realizes that it's not a fucking mirror, but it's literally another guy with the same quirk as his. but weaker, obviously. He doesn't realize that it's weaker, but we know that it's weaker because I fucking told you it is, okay? And literally Izuku has the better version of it. So yeah, they just start talking for like a minute and a half of like their quirks and shit, and they realize that they have basically the exact same quirk, but except the only exception is that Izuku doesn't have that like limitation of only from the front, like he can summon Dark Shadow only from the front, and they see that Takuyami's Dark Shadow and Izuku's Dark Shadow are way different. Izuku's Dark Shadow is like more of a protective kind of like Dark Shadow, and Takuyami's is more of like a normal fun type of guy. So yeah, after like talking for like 1.5 minutes, Aizawa comes through the door, like in his fucking, what is it called? A sleeping bag. Yeah, he's walking like a freaking snail, like how fucking snails move. So yeah, like bro's walking like that, or like crawling. I don't fucking know what to call that shit. Okay, and then he unzips it, and then just stands up, and then he tells them to wear their gym uniforms and meet him outside. And so everyone does that, and they go to the dressing rooms, and they get dressed, okay? Everything happens like usual, except that Takuyami and Izuku are like, I don't know, they talk a little bit before like going outside. So yeah, they go outside, they meet Aizawa, and Aizawa throws like a baseball type of thing towards Izuku. And Izuku catches it, and Aizawa explains to him that he's supposed to throw the ball to see how far they can like throw it. And Izuku tells him like, do I have to throw it by myself, or can I use my quirk? And so like Aizawa tells him like, you can use your quirk, you can just like, you have to be within this circle to count. And so Izuku decides to kind of go all out, like all out as much as he can, since it's fucking like the morning and he's fucking weak right now. Not that he's weakest, but he's very weak right now. So yeah, like Izuku goes all out by going Abyssal armor, and yeah, he literally goes max output as much as he can right now, and he gets like 1,000 meters, like let's say 1,020 meters, okay, because that's a good number. It's like way more than Bakugo, but not like infinity. So yeah, everyone is impressed with Izuku, and Takuyami like looks at it and he thinks, I'm not that strong. I'm not like as strong as Izuku. Izuku is like way stronger than me. And so yeah, he decides to like maybe he can do that as well, like the abyssal armor that Izuku has. He might be able to make a version of his own, since they basically have almost the same quirk. And so yeah, like they continue with the or like the test, the quirk apprehension test. They just continue doing the things that they do, like push-ups, side to side steps type of shit, 50-meter dash, long jump, etc, etc. And Izuku plays pretty good. Like he has like good strength because he's been training. He can enhance his strength and speed via like Dark Shadow. Obviously, he has more range, and so he places it like top 3, maybe even top 2. But let's say he's top 3 for now, because I don't want to make him too overpowered. And because Mineta placed last, he is going to be the one who gets expelled from UA. I mean, I'm pretty sure like that in the original, in My Hero Academia, basically, it was Izuku at like 20th place and then Mineta at 19th. So if Izuku like goes up, obviously, he's not the last, then Mineta is gonna be the last, which means he's going to be the one who gets expelled. And so now let's skip to like 3 days later, or like the day after, where All Might comes to the door saying, I am here, walking through the door like a normal person. And everyone is hyped except like Izuku, because he is hyped obviously, but not as much as he originally would have been, because he's more of a like how the fuck do you say it? He's more of like he's not really showing his emotions. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. So yeah, like he's not reacting that much, even though he wants to. And yeah, like All Might presses a button and everyone's hero suits like pop out of the wall. And yeah, like Izuku is going to have the exact same freaking hero suit that Tokoyami has. So they look basically the exact same. And so they pick lots, and it's Izuku and Tokoyami versus Todoroki and Bakugo, okay? And Izuku and Tokoyami just think, damn, we just got the fucking worst, like, opponents to fight against, since they can both generate light, which just makes their quirks way weaker. And so the exercise begins, or like I guess they begin, and Tokoyami and Izuku just decide to work together to like ambush motherfuckers. Like, so one of them is going to get like attacked with the light. So basically Izuku or Tokoyami are gonna like tank the fuck out of the light, and then the other person is gonna either like run towards the bomb or something, or like attack the person so that they get restrained by Izuku or Tokoyami. And so yeah, that's their plan for now at least. And so we like jump towards like we jump towards, what the fuck was it? Let's go to like Bakugo and Todoroki, okay? So Bakugo wants to go, okay? He just wants to go. Cause Izuku, obviously. Cause Izuku, he's not like fucking like hates the guy, but he's annoyed by him a little bit. And because Todoroki just doesn't give a fuck, he just lets Bakugo go. And bro just starts like exploding, like flying towards them. And they hear the explosions, okay? Cause Bakugo not gonna scream this time. And Izuku tells Tokoyami to get ready since Bakugo is coming. Because like he knows the sounds of his explosions, obviously. He's been listening to them for like multiple years, okay? And so yeah, Tokoyami just like goes in front of Izuku to just shield him from the light from the explosions. And then Izuku, after like the light is like restrained and Bakugo is like right in front of Tokoyami moves after like the explosions have settled basically, or they're not there anymore, and Izuku just straight up punches the dude with Dark Shadow. So yeah, like Izuku punched Bakugo with Dark Shadow, doing a lot of damage. Bro got like knocked like 3 feet, or like not 3 feet, like 2 meters almost. Okay, bro got knocked like 2 meters backwards, I think. Yeah, but 2 meters backwards. And so like Bakugo just not gonna stand for that shit, okay? And so he just decides to just start exploding, and they realize that they're both fucked if the bro just starts like exploding shit like left and right. So because then their quirks are gonna be way too weak, even though they do get like a little bit of a buff, because the building where they're in right now doesn't have a lot of windows, which means less light. But if there is an intense light in front of them, directly in front of them, that's gonna weaken them, even though they have the boost of like less light around them. And so Izuku like jumps in front of like Bakugo and his explosions, like absorbing them into his darkness, weakening him a whole lot. But still he can fight a little bit. And so the moment like the explosions are absorbed by Izuku, Izuku just starts punching Bakugo with his fists, and with Dark Shadow being like a way weaker than he should have been. And after like a second of like realizing it, like Tokoyami comes and just attacks Bakugo as well. And after like 20 seconds, like Bakugo is restrained and knocked out. So yeah, now they have another problem, which is Todoroki, because they know he has like a half ice, half fire quirk. And they are scared of his fire, okay? Because bro has like a more effective light quirk than Bakugo has. So yeah, they go like up to the bomb room, and they just decide that Izuku is going to tank the fuck out of the light or the fire, and Tokoyami is gonna like purely attack, okay? And so they go in, and Todoroki just starts spamming ice, of which it's not effective against them really. They just like break it with like punching it and shit with Dark Shadow and themselves, obviously. And they're like confused, because why the fuck isn't he using his like fire? Because like shouldn't he? Like he has a hybrid quirk, or like a half quirk. Shouldn't he be using both of his sides, or like his elements? And they realize that they might have a chance of winning if he doesn't use his fire, which is good for them, bad for Todoroki. So what they do is they just jump the guy, okay? They just go up to him, like breaking his ice continuously and just like straight up punching through it and then straight up punching him, and then bro gets knocked out because he didn't use his fire. Because like if he did, he would have fucking won, okay? Or he would have had a way bigger chance of winning. It would have been more like an 80-20 instead of the thing that's right now. It's like 20-80. Okay, like the fucking odds flipped because of that. And so yeah, the hero team wins with Bakugo and Todoroki losing. And yeah, that was the end of part 1. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. And if you have any what if ideas, write them down in the comments. Now with that said, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Just OM. Out.